Welcome, everyone, to the little show we like to call After the Impact, and that is because it is, well, after the impact. Um, we are here to talk about what we saw on tonight's show, just go over a couple things about what we enjoyed on the show, and of course, what we are looking forward to the most. It's less than a week, well, little more than a week away from Rebellion. So, Aaron, I saw your post. Are we going to do a Rebellion prediction? Yes, that'll be on this show next Thursday. So on this very show next Thursday, we will not do what we're going to do tonight. We will turn that into a prediction show for Rebellion. So yes, to answer your question, that will be next Thursday night at this exact time, 10:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, so let's welcome in everyone. Of course, Jeff is here with me, and Conrad is joining us tonight for the show as well. We've got James Chadwick, Aaron's out there, and Azan is here as well. And welcome to all of the others. But we're going to get right into it. We're going to score the show. You guys can do the same, and then we will talk about what our favorite moments were and what we're most excited about going forward. So, just a small show. We won't keep you very long because we know it is late. But welcome, and let's get started. So I'll go to Jeff. Jeff, what did you give tonight's show? What score did you give Impact for tonight?
I'm gonna give it a solid 8.75.
Okay.
I can tell that it's late because my
Losing
voice
your voice.
yeah. But yeah, 8.75. I thought it was a really solid show, good promos, good matches that I swear, like I know people get tired of rematches. I never get tired of seeing Jonah and PCO.
Oh, man.
Like I don't think I can get tired of seeing those two guys.
Yep.
But yeah, it was. I thought it was a good match. Good show overall. So
Yeah.
8.75.
Yeah, you know what? I'm probably going to be right there with you. I'm going to say 8.75 as well. I think we had a lot of promos tonight, which, you kind of figured you were going to get leading into a pay-per-view when they only really have one more week to do it. So we did get some good promos. We saw a lot of backstory for Josh and Moose. We got a great promo, I thought, to lead off the show from Morrissey. And Jeff pointed out several times that sometimes you get promos that are very, very true. And very, very straight from the heart. And you could see that Morrissey was doing that with the look in his eyes, almost coming to tears with some of that. So that was a wonderful moment for him and a big moment in his life coming back to that arena and being able to come back the way he is now and how well he's doing in Impact Wrestling. So that was awesome. And then, of course, we had the Cardonas, Cardona and Myers. And Chelsea Green come in and put the kibosh on that moment. And then, of course, they did the same thing to Mickie James. So took out Morrissey, took out Mickie. We'll see if there's ramifications for that. I'm sure that there probably will be. But they are out in force, those three. And we'll see. We might get a 3-on-3 somewhere down the line from that. But, yeah, 8.75 for me. I thought it was good. And the Jonah match, like Jeff said, was outstanding with PCO. So, and those two they're just great in the ring together. They have really, really good chemistry together, and they're just awesome together. So yeah, I'll say 8.75. Heather, 8.75 would be higher, but Willow lost. Didn't make me happy. Yeah, of course, Willow was the one who came out and challenged Deonna Purrazzo, so it was great to see her. 8.3. Need more info on the tag team match. Says Azan. Conrad, what did you score the show for tonight?
I'm going to go 8.5. It was a good show. Solid. Lots of promos to build up to the pay-per-view, which there's nothing wrong with that. I'm good. I'm kind of excited for next week. I want to see what they do on the go-home show. Since it was a lot of pay-per-view build, I want to see what next week's going to bring to us.
Yes. Yeah, great point. Yeah, I mean, go-home shows are really usually outstanding shows for them. Is it official? Did Caleb get released or quit? I didn't hear any of that. I think that's all part of a storyline with Caleb, pretty much. As far as I know, I didn't hear that he got released or quit. I didn't hear that at all. I know that you're going to Rebellion, but have you talked about who is going to? No, we'll figure that out. We'll get that figured out, Mark. We will get that figured out. Sean says 8.5 out of 10. Hashtag bring back Caleb. 10 out of 10 for Caleb getting effed up by Morrissey. Real score, 8.75 out of 10. Hashtag justice for Caleb. Yes. James, you can't fool us. I know you hired Caleb. Caleb's working for you. I know it. I know he is. Mark says 8.6. All right. So that said, highlights. So we'll just go over a couple highlights of ours for the night tonight. You guys can do that in the chat as well. What were your highlights from tonight's show? We will tell you ours, and then we will tell you what we are most excited for coming up. So I'll start with Conrad this time. Conrad, highlights from tonight's show for you.
Ooh, that's a doozy because I kind of like a little bit of everything on this.
Yep.
I'm going to pick. I'll pick a different one here. I'm gonna go with the matchup with Alex Shelley tonight. Alex Shelley has been a true gem, I feel, for Impact Wrestling recently. Him and Speedball, I would say, have been like the top two, like must see every single week performers for the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
He had a heck of a match. I thought that match was great, and I love what they did with the women tonight with Deonna Purrazzo and Willow. Nice to see Willow in another company working once again. And I'm telling you, Willow is going to get scooped up by somebody very, very soon. I just have that feeling someone's going to make an offer she can't refuse.
James Chadwick. Well, I have to report here. So obviously I looked this up just now. And this is from Draven, who puts out a lot of Impact news on Twitter. Looks like Caleb Conley has finished up with Impact Wrestling. Earlier on BTI, Madison and Tennille fired him. Then Morrissey powerbombed him through a table. Plus, his latest tweet seems to confirm it. Best of luck to Caleb wherever he goes next. James Chadwick, this could be your happiest day of your life. This could be the happiest day of James Chadwick's life. So I don't know. I mean, at least that's being reported from him. Let's see what it says on Caleb's Twitter really quick. Yeah, here it is. Now, this is 2 hours ago. I've spent the last 2 years with Impact Wrestling. They gave me an opportunity while the whole world was shut down, and it turned into some of the most fun I've ever had. I hate how it ended, but life is full of peaks and valleys. Thank you to everyone there, especially all of the knockouts. And it's Caleb with Tennille, and so holding up their title. I don't know. I mean, it could be a work. We don't know. And we've seen stuff like this before where Josh Alexander put a post out like that said he was leaving. So it could be just playing the fired angle, maybe. My master plan has worked. Could you imagine if it is a work and James gets all excited that he's gone and he comes back? Oh my God, James, you'd flip right out. But anyway, well, there you go. Maybe he did, Heather. Yeah, maybe he is gone, or it's a work. Either way, they do that on social media sometimes, so we'll see. All right. So Conrad told us some stuff about what he was excited about this evening. Jeff, what about you?
Yeah. For me, seeing the build between Moose and Josh, that's been tremendous. And everything that they did tonight was really good with that. I'm gonna bring up the whole angle with Caleb with the K and the influence and the inspiration, because maybe it is legitimate that he's leaving, but if he does end up back there, I would not be surprised to see him end up with Giselle Shaw and Lady Frost. Keep an eye on that.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
And then, like I said, the Jonah and PCO match, there were some great matches. I mean, you can't forget about Jonathan Gresham and Rocky Romero, Alex Shelley, and Steve Macklin. But those big guys, man, they bring it every time. So it was a really good show. It was hard to pick just one or two things.
Yeah, no, I agree. All joking aside, if he has really left Impact for real, wish him nothing but the best. Yeah, I mean, I hope that's not true. I liked him on there. He did a lot of great things. I mean, his post did kind of sound genuine, so it's hard to say. But yeah, it's really something these last few months, because Impact really has turned over some of their roster. But they're bringing new people in all the time. So you're kind of, they're making it a point where you're kind of really not noticing some of the losses. I mean, obviously people are going to like certain wrestlers, and yes, you miss them when they're gone. But they are filling their spots back up. with new people that they're bringing on. So, but yeah, it's part of the business, and you are going to see guys come and go. That's just what happens in wrestling. So, I'm still mourning Jake something. Yeah, I don't know. Listen, Jake something is a talented dude. And I have no doubt that he will make his way somewhere, whether that be to an AEW Dark like Rohit is over there right now, who had a match with Sean Dean, I think, recently, actually. So, Rohit is doing well for himself there. I have no doubt that Jake something may as well. Him and Rohit were always in that little clique together, also with Ethan Page. So, if he ends up over that direction, he can get back with some friends of his and stuff like that, and that would be good for him too. 8.5 out of 10 says the Coug. For me, first of all, I have to give kudos to Morrissey for the promo that he had. And I know we read that on Twitter earlier as well, but it's never easy to do that. He comes out and he's reliving a thing that was really bad time for him in his past, but the fact that he came out and it's like he conquered something, which is a great moment overall for him. And then I gotta say too, Cardona and Myers along with Chelsea Green are just fantastic, fabulous heels. Myers was great on his own, but you team him up with those two, they're going to be a force to reckon with, and it's they're whoever they're going up against. They're going to get choruses of boos from everywhere, everybody, but they're doing some great work. Cardona is really doing some fantastic work, really, really is. So we'll see where that goes. And then the Honor No More thing I liked as well. I didn't really see that coming, and I definitely didn't see the Bullet Club coming. That wasn't part of that until this. So very interesting to see what they're going to do with them and how long exactly those Ring of Honor people will stick around. We're not really sure. Somebody said in the chat that Maria Kanellis' contract with Impact ends after Rebellion. So that could be that some of them won't stay around. Some of them might. We'll see. We shall see. Jonathan says 8.5. Josh didn't completely work us. He had legit V's. Yeah, no, he did, but he worked us as far as the story with him getting fired and or getting sent home from Impact and stuff like that. So it is always possible that it could be a story. We'll see. Cardona, aka pieces of shit. All right, guys. Let's go over what we're most looking forward to coming up. I mean, we've got Rebellion next Saturday. So with all that's going on with that, I know Conrad talked a little bit about, of course, next week's Go Home show. So what are you guys most looking forward to for Impact Wrestling? We've got a Go Home show coming up next Thursday. Scott Steiner dislikes AEW. Long time no see. What's going on, Scott? How are you? Like I said, Cardona as the male version of Laurel Van Ness, the hot mess. Moose will lose his title, says Jonathan. Rohit versus Captain Sean Dean on AEW Dark this week. Yes. Yeah, that must have been a great match. I didn't get to see it, but I can imagine the two of those two guys will put on a show. All right, so Conrad, what's got your attention for going forward with Impact? I mean, obviously, besides the pay-per-view, which we'll talk about next week, what have we got your eyes on heading into Rebellion?
I'm going to put one thing that's on it. Overall, I'm kind of interested in free agency for them right now. Like, there's a lot of good people that they could pick up. The Briscoes names are out there.
Yeah.
We mentioned Juice Robinson.
Yep.
The Good Brothers maybe have to come back to Impact. We don't know what's going to happen with a lot of things. So this is a good time to be an Impact fan. The roster's going to be changing. It's going to be molded structures. Some of your favorite people may be gone. Some of them may stay and get a bigger role. You don't know.
Yep.
That's got my interest. And I'll throw Mickie James and Chelsea Green out there as well. I think that this story has been developing pretty well. I like it. And it's getting physical now. And like James said in the chat, Cardona, what a POS, man. Like, come on, dude.
It really is.
Your girl could punch him. Get up, Chels. Get him. Get him. Like, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing?
He really is. Yeah, look, I mean that storyline's been brewing for quite a while, and we saw that come. That is no way over. That's going to be going on for I think a good while now. We may see the two of them end up meeting up at Slammiversary, but it's coming. This is kind of just the start of that whole feud. So,
And one more thing, let me shout
yeah.
out the X Division real quick too.
Yep.
Trey Miguel, Ace Austin, and the guy who I think was MVP possibly for WrestleMania weekend, at least one of them, Speedball.
Yeah.
Like they're doing tremendous stuff. I just don't want people to forget the X Division's got some pretty good stuff coming up. I'm really looking forward to that match at the pay-per-view.
Yeah, definitely. That should be a banger between those three guys. Ace Austin's fantastic. Speedball has been great. And Trey Miguel. Is it time? We said the last time, is Trey going to drop his belt at that Ultimate X match? And he did not. He hung on. So we'll see. Is this the time when Trey will lose his title? Could Speedball win it? We'll see. I hope Taya comes back. I just saw an announcement for Taya she's going to be in MLW. As well. She's going to be at the Philly show right back in this arena where they just were, where Impact just was tonight. So, and they're advertising her as possibly going after their championship that they just came up with. I guess it's a new title. So, we'll see. Maybe she's going to be working two different places as well. Jeff, what are you most looking forward to?
Man, I see people talking about Taya and everything, and I just want to bring attention to maybe something that's not as out there right now, but I'm really interested in seeing what happens with Eddie Edwards and Jonathan Gresham. Do we see more of that? Because they have a match at Rebellion. I want to see if we get any more between them next week, because I'm really excited to see what they do at Rebellion.
Yeah, that should absolutely be fantastic. For me, I want to see where, obviously, of course, where the Mickie James stuff ends up. I don't know if they'll end up doing. Listen, we talked about it during the show. If they end up having that 3-on-3, good lord, my brain might explode. And then, yes, well, as far as what Jeff said too about the Honor No More people, I'm really curious to see where they go. Who goes where in the future? Are they going to stick around? Are they going to be signed for a while? Are they going to sign some of them and not others? And are some of the others going to go back to Ring of Honor? So it's definitely a story that it interests me, and to see where that's going to go. And as far as, oh my gosh, there are so many things going on in Rebellion. But I mean, the build up for this whole thing with Josh and what we got, with him and Moose. I guess my question is, and I'll ask you guys both this. When Josh, and I don't think it's an if, I'm pretty sure Josh is going to win that title. When he does, do you think we end up seeing somebody come out right away and challenge him going forward at that show, or do you just think they'll let him have his moment? I would think they'd probably let him have his moment since he's waited for so long. So I guess if you don't think that that's going to happen, who do you think's next up? Who challenges Josh for that title coming up next? And either one of you guys can answer. It doesn't matter. And you guys in the chat can answer too. Zahn saying Jay White.
That's what I want.
Wow. That's an interesting one. Man, I'm trying to think of who could go into that spot.
I mean, obviously it's a heel with Josh being the face.
See, I was thinking Jonah, but Jonah they just wrestled. I feel like you got time on that.
Right.
Could it be Eddie? Since Eddie's got so much animosity towards Josh, and then that thing all started. Could it be Eddie that might come after him?
Could do that.
It's interesting. Jay White or Eddie says is on. Jay White says Jonathan. Jay White would be an amazing program with Jay White and Josh. Oh my God, I'm signed up for that. No doubt, no doubt. But can Eddie really go after Gresham? Is Gresham wrestling for AEW too? Gresham is everywhere. It's a confusing time, isn't it? Because some of these wrestlers really are. Like I just said, Taya now is in MLW. Taya's here. She's with AAA. Some of these wrestlers are just in several different places. So it's really kind of confusing. You really don't know. And listen, I kind of like it that way. Nobody knows what's going on behind the scenes. You're not hearing about who's signed where, and I'm okay with that. We talked about that on our classic show that we did this past Saturday, on the times when we didn't have to know it all. We didn't have to know whose contract was signed and how many years they were signed and all that kind of stuff. Morrissey, James Chadwick said, you mean going after Josh? Okay. I'm down with that. Do you think Cardona? How about Matt Cardona and add to his belt collection? I mean, what he has 6 titles? Does he want 7?
7 now.
Oh, he has 7. So he could be going after 8. Let's see. Sammy and Eddie team up. Sammy Callahan. Oh, I don't. Do you think he would team up with Sammy after the animosity between those? Oh, maybe.
So I think it's an interesting way to go. I felt like, because at first I was like, oh, it's got to be Sammy's going to come back to fight him, and they're going to continue their big rivalry that they've had for years. But then I was like, what if they teamed up? He understands his injury now. I don't know. Let me hand the pencil back to Jeff. But that's what I think I would do now. Now I'm starting to think like, I was hurt, you were hurt, and we've been looked over by this company for far too long. Let's take what's ours.
It's not a bad idea. Yeah,
it's
not a bad idea. Jeff, go ahead. What do you got?
Well, I just want to steal this from Mark real quick.
Yeah.
Let's say if Gresham drops the Ring of Honor title, could he go after Alexander for the Impact title? Honestly, if he signs with Impact, I would put him in that feud immediately. I would do that. And I know it's not traditional. I know it's not your heel versus face kind of thing. But again, you don't have to. It doesn't have to be that way. It could all be about the respect and the honor which Gresham brings to the table. It could be about mutual respect and 2 opponents battling it out for that title. And I think it would be a great program. So that's a good call too, Mark.
Yeah, that would be good. I mean, imagine the matches. They would be fantastic matches between the 2 of them. Absolutely. Well, it looks like Rebellion is certainly going to be a turning point. There's going to be a lot of things going on that show. And it is one of their larger pay-per-views of the year. And then we're heading into one of their biggest, which is Slammiversary, is right down the road too. That's the next big one that's coming up. So Slammiversary is always a good one because that's where you'll see where they might really pick up some. They do usually get a big name or 2 that comes on the roster for that. So we'll see if they've got anything up their sleeve as far as getting someone big for Slammiversary this year. We'll see. Heel versus face means shit anymore. Heel versus heel, face versus yeah. Listen, it really depends on the athlete themselves. It really depends what they can do because they're so versatile. People can play both sides of the coin. So there's really, you don't have people you certainly have people who will show that they can play a better face than a heel or vice versa. But you don't have a lot of just traditional heels anymore. MJF is a good example of one, but you don't see that as much anymore. You see people that can kind of go back and forth like a tweener, almost like Seth Rollins, who is cheered and yet he's a heel. So it's very skewed. Things are very different today. It's not like when we were watching WrestleMania 10, where you knew who the bad guys were and who the good guys were. That doesn't happen as much anymore. And that's okay. Makes things more interesting. Jay White and Josh would be awesome. Yeah, that's another one that would be absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Heather agrees with Jeff. Jeff makes a valid point. Yes. All right. Well, that is probably going to do it then for us tonight. It was a good show. Really enjoyed it. And we're going to get out of here for the evening. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the show tonight, both of them, if you came out to see us with Impact. And hopefully you'll be here next week for the Go Home show, which is going to be at 7:45 p.m. Eastern time, or 8. Might be 8. We'll see. We'll see depending on who comes. But 7:45, 8 o'clock, in and around there is when we'll start Impact, the Go Home show. We'll see how that goes. And then, of course, afterwards, we'll be right back here next week at 10:15, and that is when we will do our predictions for Rebellion. And Jeff, they're going to surprise you with a match or two that you don't have a graphic for, just because they love to do that to Jeff. So, we'll get that. Maybe that's when we'll get the 3-on-3. We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, fingers crossed. We'll see. But yes, we will let you guys know about the stuff that we've got coming up. And yes, Gus says, have a great Easter. Yeah, absolutely. It's been too sweet, says James Chadwick. Yes, you guys too. Have a great holiday with your families. Enjoy Easter. Do whatever you guys happen to do. Visit families, friends, whatever it is. Just enjoy it. Have a great Easter weekend. And we'll probably see you on Monday. We'll let you know, like I said, about Abby's and if we've got that coming up. Otherwise, hopefully we will see you all right here again next Thursday night for Impact Wrestling. So have a great rest of your night, guys. From myself, of course, from Conrad. Thank you for joining us tonight, Conrad. Appreciate that always. Check out Everything Pro Wrestling for AEW and good coverage on AEW shows. And of course, he does stuff on video games. So go check him out. And of course, from Jeff, my co-host as well. Have a great holiday. Have a great rest of your night. And take care of one another. Stay safe and be kind. And hopefully we will see you all for our next show. Good night, all. Talk to you soon.